3200 Yukon stores. We are going to finish up our robot activity. Right now, what the state of our activity is that when we go over to the other side, if I hit purchase reward before starting the game, then 0 energy is over there. I won't be able to purchase anything. I can use the back button. If I come over here, if red is lit up, then the energy's 1. It's hard-coded that this is my image, the white guy, but this would be red's version of it. I could purchase something. It says that I purchased A. I can't purchase anything else because I have insufficient resources. If I go back and I go to number 2, he starts with this 2. I could buy something, can't buy anything else. I go back. And if I go back around, well, it just restarts. That'll tell me that there's 1 energy. This will tell me it's 2. And the thing is, I'm sending information from my main activity over to the robot purchase so that I can get that 2 energy, which I suppose I could see from this side, okay? But the information is not getting passed back to the main activity. So we're going to complete this cycle here in this video. Let me get a marker that's going to look a little bit better than that one. All right, maybe this one. Okay. So right now we have our main activity. It's going to send an intent. Who's hearing it? Who's hearing it is going to be the Android operating system, Android OS, and it's the activity manager that hears this information coming over. And so the first step we took was, and this was a video or 2 ago, is we just started the activity, okay? The next thing we did was we packed an extra on it, which was going to be that information that gave me that 2, that gave me, we coded that with a companion object and a key value pair. Okay, Android activity says, okay, I can see that you wanted to start the intent, and it is going to start the robot purchase activity. But all that I did to get back to here was just hit the back button. We're going to make it so that we make an intent, which will put information that we can pass back, and then that information can get received by the main activity. Let me pause this and erase this and show you how we're going to get that done. All right, so this is a little bit of a process, and the code that I'm about to type in fact, I have it on my clipboard. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it, and I'll put this back, put that back, put that in here. We will get rid of this. And maybe even get rid of this and just say that we will deal with handling this later. Okay, so let me get this out of the way because I have a very long line of code here. So we're going to create an object. That object could be named anything, but I'm going to call it the Robot Purchase Launcher. It's grayed out because I haven't made use of it yet. Okay, so this very long line of code. In order to receive information back from the main activity, we have to register for our activity result. Okay, so it's using the activity result API built into Android operating system, and we use this function register for activity result. And it's got an argument here where it is a contract. Now the standard this is going to be a standard contract where it is going to send an intent and receive back a value. Now that value is going to be of type int, but it is typically one of 2 standard codes, like activity.result OK or activity.result canceled. So that's our contract, and then we'll have that contract start the activity. So dot start activity for result pren. Okay, there's 2 parts to this. First, the contract, and second, the lambda. So the lambda, this could be any value here, but the result is going to be set to Well, right now I have if the result code is activity.result OK. Then I'm going to do something. All right, so let's come up here and comment out this. I had a couple of students who did not comment that out, and it had an interesting effect after we typed in the following. Robot purchase launcher dot launch, and then our intent. The intent should be already up there from line 64. And there we go. So let's see if it works. OK. So the interesting result was if you leave that uncommented, then this will start the activity. But then this will have your robot purchase launcher also start the activity because of this command here, which you can't quite see, start activity passing in the intent. So the activity gets started twice. It's not that obvious until you hit the back button, and it doesn't go back until you hit it a second time. Those activities will be on the stack, and so it will go from A to B to C, and when you hit from C back, it just goes to B, which looks identical to C potentially at that point. All right, so I just want to show you that this still works. I can go over there, and it behaves the same way, passing the information over. But then the next objective is to pass that information back. All right, we're going to go to the robot purchase side. We are going to come up here, and we're going to make another key. I'm just going to copy this. It's going to be some minor changes. And this is going to be for the purchase that gets made. So I'll say robot, extra robot instead of energy. Purchase underscore made. I'll copy this. All right, let's see, make purchase. So right under make purchase, I'm going to make a new function that's going to set which item I purchased. I'm going to call it private fund set which item purchased. Let's see if I spelled things right. Looks like I did. OK, so I am going to have it pass in an int. That int will be not the turn number this time, but the amount that I would get back from the button. So I have values of 1, 2, and 3, and they're going to send that back. So I'm going to put in that value. Robot purchase made. Of type int. That could be anything, okay? But it could be X, but I'm trying to make it something meaningful. Val, result intent is equal to an intent. So this is different than the way the book does it in GeoQuiz, but this is simpler. I just create a basic intent. Okay, that's my package that I'm going to, it's my object that is going to allow me to communicate with another activity. Then I want to put a value on that, and we're going to do that similarly to the way that we did it before, is with the put extra command. So result intent dot put extra, and then the key that we just made. And that would be something like robot underscore purchase made, extra robot purchase made. I forgot the word extra. That's OK. When I autofill, it gave it for me. Extra robot purchase made. And then the value that's going to come along, robot purchase made, this thing right here. So I'm just going to copy that. But when I send it back, I'm going to send it back as a string. So I'm going to say .toString. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to concatenate it on the other side just to show in a simple toast that I got some information back, which I have not up to this point. OK, now let's call this method. So I'll put that on my clipboard, and let's call it right here. That this would be I successfully made a purchase. So we'll call set which purchase made, and we're going to pass back what? That would be robot energy. It could also be cost of purchase, but it's both of them, either one, so it doesn't matter. I think in class I said cost of purchase, so I think I'll do it the same way here, just in case somebody's looking over their code after they've already put it in. Set which item purchase to cost of purchase. All right, let me stop this. And on the other side, I need to get it back. But you know what? I'm going to see if I just can run this without crashing. So let's see. So I'm going to go to this other side, purchase reward, purchase that. Can't purchase anything else. Come back. But I'm not receiving it yet because remember I just left myself a little note that said I'm going to handle that later. All right, let's go handle that. So back in the main activity where it says handle this later. And type in the code that you probably already seen. You could have paused and gotten this back. I don't know if I'll type it in the same way, but something like val robot purchase made. Again, just a variable name, could have named it anything, so wasn't expecting an autocomplete there, as equal to result dot data Now, after this dot data, I'm going to put the Elvis operator. That's a question mark and a dot. I'll come back and explain that in a second. Get string extra, yes. Remember that I turned that, that int into a string. If I hadn't, then what would have popped up here would be get int extra, and that would have been fine. So get string extra, I meant to autofill. Get string extra. And then inside the parentheses, the key from the other class, extra, underscore robot. It's not getting it yet. It's not autofilling yet. It would if I synced. So let's quit this. But it was purchase made, pretty sure. And it's still underlined. I'll hit sync in just a second. And then after that, question mark equals, and then 0. I just want to hit sync, make sure that it does sync. If it doesn't, then I have to go over to the other class and see what went wrong. OK, extra robot purchase made. Hang on. I'm going to go over to robot purchase. It's right here. I'm going to put it on my clipboard. Come back here. Before I just replace it, I just kind of want to see by doing this if it looks the same. I don't feel like I misspelled anything. Seems fine. Doesn't look like that's the error. So I'm going to go back over here. Wrong one. Go back here. And there it is. OK, so it can't see it. It's private. Now, you do want to encapsulate your data. Let me remind you how this worked last time. This was a private key, and yes, we did access it from the main activity last time, but we accessed it through this public method. In this public method, we are accessing a private key. Okay, we got access because it used the key within this method. Now here, we don't have access to that because it was private, but look what I had done on this side over here. It's within a private method. And it looks like I still have an error. This was supposed to be question mark colon. OK, so I called this the Elvis operator. This is a built-in safety measure, and it's actually getting paired with this on the other side. So what we're saying is we are going to set robot purchase equal to whatever the data is, but safety measure, only do this if it is not null. So let's suppose that it is not null. Then we will go on and say get string extra and see what we get from this key. Okay, so from the key, we get the value from that result. Okay, so only if it's not null. So what's this mean? This says, well, if it is null, then we will say the value we want won't be found from the put extra, or sorry, the get string extra, but we'll just set it to the string that is 0, okay? So only do this if it's not null. Default, otherwise, is we'll set it to 0. Okay, now we're going to make a toast. Toast dot make text. First argument, the activity. This second, the string that I want to put. And I'm just going to put a toast for the data. And the reason I turn this thing into a string is a little easier to concatenate. But it could have been done another way. Robot purchase made. That should light up there and line above. It does. And that looks OK. Next argument is the length. Toast dot length short. And then outside of the parentheses, dot show pren, and I want to see if this works by running it. Go over here, go over here, go over here, go over here, make a purchase, go back. Where's my back button? There it is. And I expect to see a toast, and I didn't get one. Now, this will be slightly out of order in which I did it in class, but the reason we didn't get one is because right now it says only do this if the result is OK. So why was the result not OK? Well, first, let me just show you that the result was not OK. I'll comment out this and this. I got to stop it, and we're going to run again. All right, so I'll go and do it the same way I did last time. I'll go to yellow. I'll purchase a reward. I'll purchase the most expensive reward. I'll go back. And it says the data is 0. OK, so we hit this because we got a toast. All right, so that proves that the result was not OK. So we're going to go over here to the robot purchase. And here's where we packed the extra, but now what we're going to do is we are going to set result, and we're going to say that the activity, remember it gets a code back, or whether it's activity OK or activity canceled, activity dot result OK. All right. Now let's try it. I'll go to yellow, make my purchase. Guess I could purchase anything. And I will use the back button. And it still says that the data is 0. Okay, but now I can wrap this thing inside that same if. I'm going to go back to the main activity and comment that if and show that this works. Stop this, run again. Go over, make a purchase, and go back. And it hits. So now I have the result is OK. Now, the result's OK, but I still haven't gotten this toast to tell me that I received something that was not null. Now, the problem is that I set the result, but I also want to pass back the intent. So I say second argument result intent. And I'm going to add an extra line here and say that I'm going to finish. Okay, instead of running this an extra time. So what the finish command is going to do is as soon as I make a purchase, it's going to launch me back. So that's optional, but I'm going to keep it. And this really should end our video here. So let me go to white, and I'll go to purchase, and I'll purchase something for 1. It should take me back. Did I have that error in there that I mentioned other students have? I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to go to the main activity. No, I don't. That would have been if that was uncommented. So that's interesting. Let me try again. I'll go here. I'll purchase something for 1. It sends me, it should have sent me back to my main activity, but it's sending me back to, looks like my activity launched twice. When I came back, though, it did say that the data was 1. Okay, played around with it for a little bit. I didn't see a problem, but I commented out finish, and it behaves like I want. So I'm going to go to robot purchase. I'm going to hit this. I will go back, and it does tell me that the data is 2. Okay, so I'm not sure why, because in class I left that finish in there, and I didn't notice any problems with it, so I didn't research where there would have been a problem with that finish. But okay, so this is how we're leaving the code. For any of you that were not in class to see how it ended, this should help you with your homework 3A. Good luck.